was miles away. She gave him a sheepish half-smile by way of apology, and he felt something new and special curl up and glow inside him.
I hope it was somewhere exotic.
Exotic?
No, not exactly. Exciting, at least.
She searched his face, then shook her head quickly, almost as if in guilt at her admission.
Your secret's safe with me,
he teased, on a note of conspiracy that ended in a smile.
As long as you're back here now.
I am. Her whisper was carried away by the wind, but she continued to stare at him. When she finally spoke again, she sounded confused. I'm not even sure what happened. One minute I was here, and then...
The ocean has a way of doing that, of transporting you from one place to another.
Tucking his hands in his pockets, he tore his eyes from hers and gazed toward the waves.
It's very sneaky, actually. First you're lured by the sense of freedom, of the open beach and the fresh salt air. Before long, you barely know it's happened. Your pulse has adjusted to the rhythm of the surf.
He looked down at her and was so taken with her rapt expression that his voice thickened.
Some people call it hypnotic, like staring into a flickering fire.
He cleared his throat.
I think it's something more. In no time you're caught, laid open, exposed. Nature here is raw, and utterly truthful and commands no less from those of us who dare intrude.
His voice lowered as he studied the delicate features before him.
Falling victim to the sea means bearing one soul. It can be painful.
For a minute, they simply looked at one another. I'd never thought of it that way, she said at last.
Neither had I, until it happened too many times to ignore.
You've felt the pain? She asked in a small, surprised voice.
Many times. Shouldn't I?
I don't know. You look so strong. Dropping his head back, he took a deep breath.
I like to think I am, but that doesn't mean I never suffer. I think strength comes from facing pain, from dealing with it. It's either that or crumble. Pain is part and parcel of being human.
Her expression grew all the more solemn, her voice soft in a wistful way. I sometimes wonder. It seems... When her gaze flicked to his, then darted away, he coaxed her gently.
Go on.
She hesitated for a moment longer, and there was a note of despair in her voice when she spoke. It seems that some people are immune to it.
Immune to pain? No. He mused. I doubt that. There are those who choose to deny it. They're the ones who'd never be caught dead alone with themselves in a room, much less on a deserted expanse of beach.
He winked.
It takes a pretty brave person to expose himself this way.
She gave a lopsided smile. Either that or a dumb one. Then she eyed him cautiously. Tell me, after this bearing of the soul takes place, what happens?
You go home and cry.
I'm serious. Does the sea provide answers?
Sometimes. Once I stood here in my agony, and this little bottle floated ashore with a message inside.
He was interrupted by the audible breath she took. When she simply held it without speaking, though, he prodded.
What's wrong?
She exhaled slowly. Your name. I want to scold, but I don't know your name. Then she murmured, more to herself than to him, Isn't that odd? Michael understood. There was a warm familiarity about this woman. If he believed in reincarnation, he might have suspected he had known her in another life. Grateful, if that had indeed been the case, that he'd been given a second chance, he held out his hand.
Michael Buchanan.
Without breaking eye contact, he tossed his head back in the direction from which he'd come.
I live down the beach.
He raised a brow. And you? She hesitated for just a minute.